We are so close to being done with 2020 forever. It's not the finish line of this, but it's the finish line of what was frankly just a terrible year. I would definitely say that on a personal level this year, one of the most frustrating things has been this feeling that I'm not accomplishing anything. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not making any progress with anything in my life, but I'm gonna be optimistic and talk about my goals for 2021. And if there are any goals that you have for 2021, let me know what they are down in a comment below. Let's start with my number one. It's the most obvious one that you guys already know. It is to travel. Specifically, I would like to resume my annual goal of visiting one new country and one new US state. I started doing this a few years ago, and aside from 2020, I was knocking it out of the park. It was more like 5 new countries and a few new US states for me. As far as where I would want to go, honestly, I would go anywhere. But I have found myself thinking about a New Zealand road trip a lot recently. My second goal is to save and invest more. As far as saving, the biggest financial goal on my horizon right now is to become a homeowner. I would love if we could buy a house in 2021, but if not, I would love to be closer to buying a house. There are so many variables that come into play when buying a house, and especially not being quite sure of what the market's going to look like once the COVID stuff subsides. And then also investing more. Of all of the financial decisions I've made in the last decade, investing is definitely one of the best. And now that I've done it for a while, I'm beginning to really see the difference, the results of compound interest. So I'd like to increase the percentage of my income that I'm putting toward investments, even if it's just an increase of 1 or 2%. Speaking of investing, I want to thank Wealthfront for sponsoring today's video. Wealthfront offers an automated investing service that uses intelligent software to invest for you. It's never too early or too late to start investing, and this type of service makes it really easy. If you don't really know what you want to invest in, or you don't have the time to dedicate to it, or maybe you just want more of a passive, hands-off experience with investing, automated investing can be really useful. I've personally used automated investing services over the years, and it really is incredible how they can work. Of course, you are never guaranteed a certain return in the market, but based on your personal information, your goals, your age, etc., Wealthfront will build you a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds aimed to maximize your returns at the level of risk that's right for you. They offer a range of investment accounts you can open, including IRA and 529 accounts, and they have a really nice app where you can track how your investments are doing. And I've talked about this before, but if you're letting your long-term savings sit in a regular checking or savings account, you're actually losing money due to inflation. Inflation averages about 2% a year, so if you aren't seeing that return on your savings, your purchasing power is decreasing. And right now, I've partnered with Wealthfront, so if you open an account with them, you will get the first $5,000 you invest managed free for life. And I will put a link down in the description, so be sure to check it out. My next goal is to consistently wake up earlier. I have always struggled with being an early riser, and I used to feel bad about that because there's this idea in our society that waking up early is good and waking up later is like lazy or you're being a sleepyhead or something. That being said, I have recently kind of accidentally found myself in a routine of getting up earlier, and there really has been something especially productive for me in the earliest hours of the day. I always think about Casey Neistat's video where he talks about, I think he gets up at like 4 a.m. every day. I'll put a link to it down below. He talks about how those earliest hours of the morning are so productive for him because the rest of his world is still asleep. I think he says like his kids are still asleep. At 4 a.m., people aren't texting him or emailing him. Like there aren't any distractions. He can just focus. And I'm starting to experience some of those benefits as well. So I'm hoping throughout 2021 to stay with this new rhythm of waking up earlier. Which brings me to my next goal for 2021, because speaking of waking up early, I would like to photograph more sunrises. I never regret waking up early to shoot a sunrise. There's something so magical about quiet morning and the beautiful light, but I rarely ever do it. But some of my favorite photos, even from this year, are from getting up early to shoot a sunrise. Like there was the most gorgeous sunrise in Joshua Tree back in February. The sun was like red as it rose over the horizon. Rakuten. And I had to get up at 4 a.m. and drive an hour into the park and get all set up in the dark and everything to shoot it. But wow, looking back at those images, it was so worth it. My next goal is to let go of some of my perfectionism with my work. There's a phrase that I've been repeating to myself a lot lately, and it's sometimes done is better than perfect. I'm really good at getting hung up on the most minuscule details of projects I'm working on, to the point where it slows down my workflow, it pushes things back in my schedule. Like, I will get 95% of a video edited, like a travel video, and then I will spend 3 whole days on the last 5% because every little single thing has to be perfect, and I just cannot accept to myself that it's done almost. Like, I have to just be nitpicky over every single frame in the video. I do think it holds me back from creating more, because fussing over every little tiny detail takes up so much of my mental space and my time that could be devoted to just making more videos or working on more projects. Another thing I want to do in 2021 is engage with other people's content online more. For somebody who creates content for a living, I am so embarrassingly bad at this. I hardly ever like or comment on anything, and it's not intentional. Like, I will be scrolling through Instagram and I'll see this photo that's amazing and I'll think, wow, this is so nice. I'll be zooming in on every little detail of it, and then I'll just start scrolling again. I won't like it, I won't leave a comment, and it's crazy because it means so much to me when people interact with my content, but I don't naturally think to do it with other people's content. So I've been consciously trying to catch myself lately. Like, if I scroll past a photo or something, I'll be like, no, scroll back up and hit the like button. And then my last goal for 2021 is kind of a 2-part one. It's to move and declutter a ton of stuff when we move. I've talked about this already in a few videos, but at the beginning of quarantine, my husband and I left our apartment in Seattle and headed over to a family home in Eastern Washington to ride out this. And when we came over here, we literally thought it was gonna be like 1 to 2 months tops that we would be over here. So we didn't bring any of our stuff with us. We like packed a suitcase and our cat and our Nespresso machine and drove over the mountains. But if everything goes to plan this next year, as we are all hoping it will, we will be moving back into our own place. And after living basically out of a suitcase for the better part of this year, I really do not miss anything that I left in Seattle. I know that we're gonna get back there and start going through our stuff, and I'm gonna see so many things that I completely forgot that I had, stuff that I'm gonna be like, why did I hold on to this? So those are some of my goals for this next year. I would love to hear what you are hoping for in 2021, aside from the obvious, that we would like this to go away and for things to get closer to normal. Thanks for watching. I hope you all are taking care of yourselves, staying safe. Here's hoping that 2021 is wonderful. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.